Alrighty, so very briefly, summary so far, we've got two things. First of all, you need to associate any good content, any viral content that goes down there with you. Otherwise, people are just going to go, well, that's curated content, that's very cute, I'll share it. But they never make that mental connection that you are actually the celebrity and authority. Second part was, well, hell, you might as well establish yourself as an authority. Hello, Dr. Phil. And you do it very easily by having everything that's pointing towards anything you're doing and anything you are being mentioned in to the fact that you are, in fact, a celebrity and or authority. And don't worry, you don't have to stand in front of a camera, although it is really, really nice because it's freezing cold outside and it's nice and warm here. But you get the idea. Whatever your brand, your story is about, it needs to be established as an authority. I gave you a little formula there, where you basically say, you are the superhero in your market and you stand for the good stuff and you are standing against the bad stuff. And by the way, the standing against is something I call rejection marketing. I'll tell you about that in a second. So, the final question then is, it's all wonderful. We've got the site and, we've got all these people coming here, liking us and accepting us as authorities. How do we turn them into paying customers? And for this, we're going to have to go back to the good old newspaper. All right? Here is the good old ad. This is the ad, okay? The ad that started it all. When you think about traditional advertising, the ad says, here's what I've got, take it or leave it. And as you saw earlier, with the knife example, here it is, take it or leave it, does not work on social media. So let's have a look at why that is, what you need to do instead to make it work. Basically, for this, we need to examine what the buying cycle or decision-making cycle is. Alrighty, what is a buying cycle, decision-making cycle? Pretend for a second you are overweight, or you just went to the doctor. The doctor says you need to do some exercise badly. I'm like, oh, okay, you need to do some exercise. It's winter and cold, and I don't like doing. Anyway, okay, you decide going to do some exercise. Alrighty. What kind of exercise can I do? And there's like aerobics or aerobic type exercise. There's weightlifting. There's chess, mental exercise, all kinds of stuff. In the end, you decide we're going to do some aerobic exercise. Okay. So this is kind of what type of solution are you going to look at? Here's the problem. You need to do some exercise. Here's the type of solution you're going to consider. Next one is you're going to kind of look at the models. What kind of model? Now that I know what type it is, what kind of model? This could be like what kind of car? Do you want an off-road vehicle or a sports car? Now the model or brand and model. Now I'm looking at exercise. Well, exercise, I'm looking at aerobic. I could go cycling, running, or do Zumba. Well, turns out, cycling, with all that wind, it's far too cold, and running is not good for my knees, so Zumba it is. All right, cool. Model, Zumba. Next thing is, I need to figure out what kind of Zumba. Do I want to do the stay-at-home Zumba, where I get a DVD, stick it in my computer or TV and watch it? Or do I want to go to like the Saturday evening classes where the whole city turns up? Or do I want to check out the Zumba class in my gym? Okay, all kinds of different Zumba classes you can. So there you go. Now this is sort of getting more and more specific. And you figure out, well, I'm going to go to the gym and do that one. Alrighty, well, turns out there are 3 gyms in your area. So you now start comparing the suppliers of your chosen solution. And this is kind of, getting to what it is you want and then where you're going to get it from. And then once you figured out, I'm going to get it at this gym, now you hop online, you look at the reviews of that gym, you ask your friends, hey, what do you think of that gym? I heard you went there or your mom went there or whatever. And finally, at some point, you probably do a sort of price comparison, and only then do you actually make the big purchasing decision. You sign up for your annual membership at the gym, which you're never ever going to use, but there you go. And most ads, this thing here, are focused 100% on take it or leave it. I kid you not. That's what we do. We train newspaper salespeople, newspaper ad salespeople, sales representatives who sell newspaper advertising. Okay, we train them how to sell advertising properly, because most people go in, hey, do you want to put an ad in the paper? No, okay, see you later. Or they do some objection handling. Whichever way it is, the vast majority of people who run a business put that kind of ad in there. Hey, buy my shit or leave it. Like, okay, and they're surprised they're not selling a lot. What we want to do is look at this from a different perspective. There are a couple of reasons, and one of the reasons this doesn't work on social media is that the vast majority of people only, or let me give you a model, a visual model. Think of an iceberg. It's the fabulous iceberg model. And only about 1 to 3% of that iceberg stick out above the water. Now, the model is exactly the same as when you go into a room full of people and you say, for example, who's currently looking to buy a car? On average, 1 to 3% of people will say, yay, I'm interested in buying a car. All the other ones are going, nah, not at the moment. Then you change the question and go, who's currently looking to buy a digital camera? Once again, 1 to 3% will raise their hand. And so on and on and on. Who's currently looking to remodel their kitchen? 1 to 3%. It's just statistically speaking, 1 to 3% of the population are always doing something that's a little bit bigger than a sandwich at lunch. If you ask for, hey, who's currently looking for a sandwich at lunchtime, you're going to get a lot more than 1 to 3%. But overall, 1 to 3%. The other ones are not interested. Now, on social media, as you saw with the examples I've shown you, that's a big problem because the 1 to 3% who are not interested are really, really annoyed. They're pissed off that they came here to check out cute pictures of dogs, and what you're giving them is weight loss pills. They're annoyed, and they're going to go, see ya, and they're definitely not going to go virally share all this cool stuff on weight loss pills. So the overall thing with social media is this. Rather than focus at the end of the buying cycle or decision-making cycle, you want to focus at the beginning of the decision-making cycle or buying-making cycle. The buying cycle, all right? Your focus is at this end as opposed to this end. People come to Facebook and vaguely mention some problems. I mean, no one's going to go hardcore problems like, I've got a jock itch, all right? That's social media is like a party. You're not going to discuss jock itch at a party. Very rare, I think. Well, not the parties I've been to. The same on social media. You share fun things, inspiring stuff, like general stuff about the world. That's what you like to discuss on Facebook. And the same applies to pretty much any social media platform. And that's why you have to go in here and pick up people where they are at that general talking about inspirational stuff and then guide them forward. So in the example of the fitness recipes, they went in and said, hey, buy these knives, special offer. It's like 11 people thought it was cool instead of the thousands who are normally responding to any post they put in there. Why is that? Because it's very, very specific, buy these knives. They should have gone in much earlier and said, hey, look, how do you prepare for your food? Let's take some pictures. And look, I'm using this tool and this tool and this tool. I can guarantee you that would have elicited a much higher response. So overall, with social media, always focus at this end. This is where it is at with social media. It's not at the buying end of the cycle. By the way, if you're interested in this stuff, the buying cycle and how to apply social media in general, as opposed to, at the moment we're kind of looking at the very specific how to position yourself, how to set up a page so it can go viral and then attract the right kind of buyers or people who buy stuff from you. If you're looking at the broader picture, I highly recommend the book Likeable Social Media. If you give me 1 second. As if by magic, here it is, Likeable Social Media by Dave Karpman. Alrighty, highly recommended. Easy read. It's only a couple of 250, 260 pages. I also do have a summary, which you can check out. What I'll do is I'll post a link somewhere down below. I've condensed the 260 pages down to 36 pages or so with all the fluff taken out. All right. This model here is guaranteed to give you better results. Something that Dave Karpman talks about over and over again, simply because people look at a social interaction like at a party. They don't want to be sold to. You don't like being at a party where people sell you stuff. You like being entertained. You like being informed. Interesting tidbits of information, astounding stuff. Who's the winner of the X Factor and that kind of stuff. Same applies here. So the overall summary of all of this then. Step number one, you want to make sure that it is whatever you're putting out there is associated with you as opposed to some random, curated content. Secondly, you need to be established as an authority or expert. And thirdly, when you're selling stuff, make sure you're focusing at this end as opposed to the take it or leave it. Okay, take it or leave it. Well, you might argue now, hey, we saw this example of the Zumba people. Okay, the Zumba people, 24,000 people liked the fact that there was a new course coming out. Well, actually, if you go through the whole story, is part of a story evolving. Well, first of all, the whole Zumba thing is people associate themselves with Zumba. That's the first thing. That's why already the success factor is much, much higher. But the second one is that whole thing is always an event. It's working towards this, yes, we're creating this new course. And guess what? The course is about Zumba. It's about the brand Zumba. I don't know what they call Zumba International or something like that, okay? It's an event as opposed to Zumba going, oh, by the way, here's some... What do you need for Zumba? Slip-resistant yoga mats. I can guarantee that would have been, yeah, whatever. There's an affiliate offer. It doesn't work that well. It's something you need to work towards, create that event. That's what it's all about. Alrighty. These 3 simple steps, I guarantee, use them with the information you've got, with whatever tools you're using online to create viral stuff, create viral campaigns. If you use this as the foundation, both the foundation for setting up a Facebook presence that attracts the right kind of people. Because, like I mentioned earlier, rejection marketing, the whole point of rejection marketing is to reject anyone who's of no use. Okay? There's a very specific reason why we do rejection marketing. Yes, we want to have lots of traffic, but ultimately we want to have the people who make a decision to buy. That's what we want, okay? Now, if you're familiar with Facebook, for example, in Facebook you've got this thing called EdgeRank. And EdgeRank, very, very briefly summarized, means this. The more interaction you have with other people, and the more recent your content is, and the more it is of interest to the people you're connected to, the higher up it will be shown, and the more people will see your content. Meaning, if you've got, let's take the example of the fitness recipes thing, okay, around about 100,000 people, and you're putting out a piece of weight loss content. No, it wasn't it was the doggies, okay, the doggy site, the puppy site, 100,000 people, and you put out a piece of weight loss content. Only 11 people say this is interesting. EdgeRank, this algorithm by Facebook, instantly says, this clearly is not very interesting content, so I'm not going to show it to a lot of people. Whereas you saw the other example with the pit bull terriers, or pit bulls, where they had 800,000 people talking about it. They only had 600,000 likes and 800,000 people talking about it. That is that type of content where a lot of people click like. As a result, Facebook goes, oh, this must be really popular content. I'll show it to even more people. So you can see how it is important to attract the right type of people, the type of people who go click, like, so more and more people see it. But ultimately, it's not enough to just have lots of people liking it, they also have to buy it. And that's why we want to reject anyone who's unlikely to click and anyone who's unlikely to buy. And or, ideally, you reject both. And that way you have a small, tightly knit community and you can communicate and interact with them individually on a much more personal level, which again improves your EdgeRank. Alrighty, that's it. Use these 3 simple principles, and I can guarantee whatever you're doing online, especially on platforms that are predisposed or ideal for going viral, like Facebook, etc., you will have huge success. Now, if you want more training like this, especially where I show you how to do rejection marketing, how to take this to the next level. This, incidentally, the iceberg principle goes in 2 dimensions, both time and space, so you can attract people who are not even thinking about the stuff you're talking about, plus apply it to the buying cycle. If you want to see how to set up this whole thing that that social media is kind of a part of the whole thing, to interact with what I showed you earlier, all the different cycles feeding in, I will make available a little training to you somewhere in the next couple of days around the video. So make sure to come back and make sure you check your inbox, okay? If you haven't confirmed your email address, you're not going to get the email saying, hey, the course is online, and then you won't have access to it. Alrighty? So, thanks again for checking this out. If you like this training, then please leave a comment in the thread, and I hope to speak to you soon.